Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
It is Ask Rob and Rob, the show where you get your questions in, we get our answers out, and everybody wins. Super simple format, but everyone seems to like it, so we'll keep doing it. And it's a super simple format to get involved as well.
Yep, one phone number you need to know, 013 808 0035. 013 808 0035. But actually, I lied. You don't even need to know that phone number. You can keep it even simpler and just go to thepropertyhub.net/ask. Whichever you do, just leave us a voicemail, and before too long, you'll hear us introducing your question, just like I'm doing right now with Sam from London.
Hi, Rob and Rob. It's Sam calling from London. I currently have 3 rental properties in my own name. I have weighed up my options and done the calculations, and I plan to invest in property going forward through a limited company. I have a question for you about selling a property that I currently have in my own name to a new limited company and how to fund this transfer. I don't have a large amount of free capital at present, and the only way I can imagine selling a property to the company would be to sell the property and use the funds from the sale to lend to the company and use it as a deposit on a new mortgage through the company. Obviously, there are fees and capital gains tax and stamp duty, which I will need to consider. But ignoring these for a second, is this a feasible way of selling the property to the company? Or do I need to have a new deposit already available sitting in cash in the company to be able to proceed? Thanks for all you do in the world of property. I hope to hear from you soon.
Cheers, Sam. Good question. So to put it simply, Sam wants to sell her property to her company. So in a way, buying it from herself, but the company's buying it, her company. So reasonably straightforward. Made even easier if you're buying from cash. But what would happen is you'd complete on the same day. So your company would need the funds in it for one day to buy the property. And then you would be paying yourself back the same day. So you won't be out of pocket for long. However, they may not be achievable. You may not have the money for a cash purchase or even the deposit for a mortgage purchase if you do it that way. So you may need to do some form of bridge, or if you're a bit more fortunate, you may know somebody who'd be kind enough for one day to put some money in your account and get it back the same day. If they're really kind, they might do that for a beer or a meal. Or if your relationship isn't as strong, you may need to give them a bit of cash. But it's not a barrier that should stop you from doing this if you feel it's the right thing to do. Even asking around in your property circles, if you're really struggling to find somebody, if you go to a meetup and say to someone, listen, do you want to make a couple of grand for a day or £1,000 for moving some money around over one day? They'd probably be queuing up to do it, Sam. While it may seem a bit of a faff if you haven't got the money, it's reasonably achievable. The one hurdle, the one potential banana skin is if your mortgage company, if you are doing it through a mortgage and you're putting a deposit down, if your mortgage company asks to see proof of deposit, so where are the funds coming from? This may create some awkward conversations. However, we were saying before we went live, Rob, we'd hope the mortgage company would use a little bit of common sense.
Yeah, you would hope that they would realise that you are clearly selling from yourself to a company that is owned by you as well, and they'd realise what it is you're trying to do. However, when dealing with financial institutions, always dangerous to make any assumptions. So that's probably something worth checking with your broker to see if that's likely to be an issue, if that is the route that you are going. But other than that little wrinkle, I think Rob has summed it up extremely well. And you've mentioned some of the other factors that you need to be thinking about as well, such as capital gains and stamp duty. So clearly you are well on top of it. Hope that proves to be the last piece of the puzzle and you can make the decision that you need to move forward. Okay, we'll keep moving forward and we'll move on to our next question. This one has come in from Matt from Birmingham.
Hi Rod, it's Matt calling from Birmingham. Just want to say a massive thank you for all the work you guys do on the podcast. Fantastic material. I've listened to them start to finish now, so you've got a fair few hours worth of my life there. But I've learned an awful lot, so thank you. The question today that I wanted to ask was if you had any tips for renovation. It's not a topic that I've heard you cover in a while. And, tips and tricks for bringing down the cost during renovations, or perhaps how best to, utilise networks, or just anything and everything, really. I'm currently flipping properties. I'm on my second one now. Trying to start early. I'm only 24. I was just wondering if you had any tips to help me speed up the process and save a little bit of money on the way for the next project. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right, Matt, thank you for that question. Great stuff. First of all, congratulations, being 24 years old and already onto your second flip. That is impressive stuff. I'm sure you'll be making a lot of people jealous right now because a lot of people will be wishing that they'd started when they were as young as you are. So clearly you're doing okay already, but you're looking for some tips to bring down the cost of refurbs. So when it comes to a renovation, there's two main categories of cost. You've got the materials and you've got the labour. So if we start with materials, one thing that you can do to try and get the cost down is to source them yourself rather than having your tradespeople do them. So they'll have access to trade prices. They're normally pretty competitive, but you might be able to do better. So one thing you can do is become a member of LNPG. LNPG, not the easiest to say, but it's basically a buying club for landlords that gets discounts that's often better than trade prices by being able to buy in bulk. So you might find that if you go through them, you'll be able to get better prices than your trades can. Also, if you're willing to put in the time, there are bargains all over the place. So I've heard about people who've bought kitchens on eBay, for example. Actually sourcing them does take time. So you have to factor in the cost of your own time. But if that's something you've got and you're just trying to save as much money as possible, then you can go hunting and you can find yourself some bargains. On the labour side of things, I don't know if you are currently project managing yourself or if you've got a main contractor in place. It's always going to be cheaper, generally speaking, if you've got individual trades that you are managing rather than having one single contractor who's then doing the bulk of the work and then subbing parts of it out, because they're generally going to want to charge more for the hassle of doing that, maybe adding a bit of a markup, and you're just not going to be able to make sure that every single part of it is as competitive. So if you're not doing that already and you do have the time and the confidence to project manage yourself and bring in all the individual trades, then that will generally bring the price down. And just over time, as you start building relationships, you will find that you track down those people who are competitively priced, but also do their work to a high standard and are reliable. Not easy to get those three things all in the same place, but it will get easier as you start to do more and you build up your contacts network. So that's a few tips that might help you save a few quid, but you're clearly on the right track. Just keep up the great work.
A few tips. That was bundles of advice. Good work, Rob. One final piece of advice, Matt. Don't ask Rob and I to do any of the work for you. You won't do so well. But it goes well when you ask us questions because we give you answers like that. Loads of value there. So make sure you get involved in the show. Remember, you got the phone number, but probably the easiest way is just going to thepropertyhub.net/ask, thepropertyhub.net/ask on your phone, on your tablet, on your desktop, wherever you use. Just go to the same place, ask us a question. And just like Matt and Sam, you might just get an answer.
Yep, so you go ask your question via one of those methods. We will come back on Thursday with more property goodness on the Property Podcast, and then we'll see you back here next Tuesday for Ask Rob and Rob. Until then, enjoy your week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.